Hey folks, Papa D here again, as promised, coming to you from Central Florida. Back with hopefully the updated T0 time and launch of Starlink Group 8-11, launching out of Cape Canaveral Space Force Station here in the lovely, hot, wet state of Florida. Launch is scheduled for approximately it was 8:26 this morning, rescheduled for 11:33 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This Starlink launch is a 21 payload launch. 21 payloads consist of 13 direct-to-cell satellites and 8 standard version 2 mini satellites as developed by SpaceX. Again, the launch is coming off of Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Merritt Island, about hour and 15 minutes as the crow flies from where I'm located. This is the 161st orbital launch attempt of 2024, the 386th mission for SpaceX, and the 86th mission of this year. SpaceX was hoping to be on point for somewhere in the 144 to 150 mission range this year, and well underway. Had a slight hiatus of about a week there when booster, let's see, that was 1062, I believe. Yeah, 1062 that had the anomaly last week. Put a little slow down on them, but we are back on track. Again, this is the 371st mission of the Falcon 9, 85th mission of this year. So we have seen the record of 23 launches with 22 recoveries, unfortunately. Again, that was 1062, booster 1062, another Starlink launch, part of the launch cadence. This launch today hopefully will go off. We've had a little bit of an issue, and I can show you that again. This is the launch mission execution forecast executed by the Space Force. And as you can see, we are looking at today's forecast was looking at a 25 to 40% primary concern probability of VWC, violating launch constraints. Yeah, weather constraints, unfortunately. And we have had just checking up the updates to make sure we don't have another change of timing due to violation. Weather for today as well as tomorrow, the 24-hour forecast, looking about the same. Same for the booster recovery weather. Booster is recovered out at sea on the Atlantic today, would be being brought down and picked up by Just Read the Instructions for its 15th flight, that being booster 1077. And again, the weather here has been rather wet. We've had a wet week. This is Florida. This is the hurricane season, so being it is what it is, we deal with it, and SpaceX and any flights coming out of the Cape fall into the same issues. So if you ever need to check that out, you can certainly go out to the Space Force page. I believe it is the 45th. Yeah, the 45th Weather Squadron that puts that out. It's put out on a weekly basis, put out on a daily basis per launch, and you can see kind of what the stats are and what the odds are. It's 11:22 our time right now. Again, we're looking for a T0 if it's holding, and let me check that again. 11:26, and we will refresh. Slow goes. And we are still looking at a T0 of 11:26, just about 14 minutes out. The weather, getting back to that, share something else. We have one of our, I call it partners, but not really a partner. It's someone, meteoblue allows us to use their weather data. And we'll bring up the current live map of Florida. You'll see that red dot right there, that blue dot. That is the launch complex at Merritt Island. And right now we are showing scattered showers. The showers are not the problem right now as much as the cloud cover and the ceiling, as well as I said earlier, the recovery out on the Atlantic, not too far off the Florida coast. So we will keep an eye on that. But right now, we are hoping they have found a hole in the weather and a hole with respect to the recovery. Certainly watching that very carefully because of the anomaly that took place about a week ago. And again, as you all know already, I know, that was Booster 1062. It was on its 23rd mission, 22 successful launches and recoveries. And unfortunately, upon landing on what appeared to be a little bit of maybe a rough sea, but looked pretty standard. Looked like one of the launch legs suffered an anomaly. One of the struts possibly let go. Nothing official has been released on that yet. But there was what looked like a explosion or some additional fire that came out when the engine should have been shutting down. The leg collapsed. Booster 1062 went over. Very little of it was recovered. Most of it went into the ocean. But they did recover the very bottom of the booster, including the engines. So hopefully it'll be something salvageable there. But that was the 23rd mission, and that was a shortfall of Gravitas was the recovery vehicle on that. That has since come back to Port Canaveral, and I would guess they're offloading the remains and seeing what they can find out about that. But 23 seems to be how far they were getting up in the 20s, considering the fact that the Falcon 9s were only designed for a life of 10 missions. And then 15, then 20, they've worked their way up. So we're trying to see, and Elon is trying to see, SpaceX is trying to see how far that can be pushed. But certainly this is amazing what they're able to do. Amazing that these recoveries and reuse can be done, and that is the pivotal point at which we need to hit to make interplanetary spaceflight possible. That goes right up to the current major project, which is the Starship project that is out of Boca Chica, as you all know. Boca Chica, Texas is the center of the universe, no pun intended, when it comes to that. We're hoping to get word very shortly with respect to when test flights number 5 will take place, and that will include, we hope, an attempt to catch the booster, and ultimately at one point the booster and the Starship on the chopsticks at the Boca Chica location. The second launch platform is under construction now, and that is the ultimate goal, to be able to fly what will be the largest rocket built into orbit, perform its mission, and have both parts be recovered. And from what Elon has said and what SpaceX's plan is, have those two pieces put back together, refueled, and sent up again very quickly. So that is the next step. But it's 11:27 right now. We are waiting for the feed to come through from SpaceX. It has not yet come. We want to thank them in advance for the ability to bring these launches. They provide great coverage, and we do appreciate that, as well as we appreciate all of our subscribers. We do want to thank meteoblue for the weather information, the weather data, and also Matt over at Maddness Productions for the bumper music that you heard leading into the broadcast today. And we are just going to stand by here for a moment, and we'll bring that feed over. We're going to flip over to that feed here just momentarily, unless something has changed. And we should be getting that here very quickly. I'm getting word now they're getting ready to start that feed. So we'll stand by here for just a moment, guys. Appreciate you all coming through, and we should be back over here in just a minute with a live feed from SpaceX and commentary for Booster 1077 flight number 15, Starlink Group 8-11. Stand by, folks. All right, folks. Looks like we're at T-minus 3 minutes here. A little bit of change leading up to the launch. They are in the middle of fueling, final fueling of stage 1 and then ultimately stage 2 here. Should be very close on that.
Stage 1 LOX load complete.
And there we go. We have a LOX load on stage 1. LOX 2 will be topped off. And then we will have topping off until they finally can finish the gas closeouts and blow out the lines prior to launch. That'll be coming up very shortly. Also, the strongback has retracted. And at 1 minute, the internal systems of the Falcon 9 will be taking over the launch. Unless stopped by the ground, it's fully autonomous launch and control system. So about 1 minute and 18 or so, we should be hearing that call out. Falcon 9, when fully fueled, is carrying about 1 million pounds of oxidizer and fuel. Fuel is RP1, high-grade kerosene. The 1 million pounds includes the amount of fuel needed to get the Falcon 9 to orbit to release the second stage payload and then return.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
And there's our call out for stage 2 LOX load. That will return booster 1077 hopefully to just read the instructions off the coast of Florida. Falcon 9 is...
Ground gas closeouts.
And that noise you hear is normal, and what you see is normal. That is the gas ground closeouts, as they called it. Closing out the lines, clearing out the lines, so when launch takes place and the fuel lines are released, that there is not, we'll just call a little major problem. We're coming up on T-minus 1 minute. We should be going internal.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And we are in startup. Everything looking good. And we'll just stand by now. Thank you all for coming out. We'll complete through the launch here.
LD, go for launch.
And the recovery. We do have confirmation of a green light from the launch director, so we are good to go. I'll stand by for just a moment here. Be back to you in just a few seconds. And enjoy the launch, folks. Thanks again. This is
T-minus 30 seconds.
Booster 1077, Group 811 Starlink launch out of Cape Canaveral.
T-minus 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Go Starlink, go DTC.
All right, friends. We do have liftoff. Of Booster 1077 on its 15th launch and mission. Now we will be coming up here very shortly on max Q. That's the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure placed on the vehicle. That is the most pressure the vehicle will experience as it works its way to orbit. Slightly after that, number of items will take place fairly quickly. You'll have main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation.
Mach 1.
Followed by the fairing separation, since they're no longer needed once through the thicker part of the atmosphere. But we did reach Mach 1, and max Q will be coming up very shortly.
Max Q.
Want to again thank SpaceX for putting this coverage out here for us to use. We love to use that for educational purposes and use it to show to people who are very interested, and we enjoy bringing it to you with a little bit of extra commentary. Hope you enjoy that. But we try to bring as many of these to you as we possibly can, and we'll be back hopefully a little bit more full speed on the coverage as the cadence goes up.
Nominal trajectory.
And another good call. Nominal means good, so we are on track on trajectory, running at a speed of just over 4,000 kilometers an hour, altitude already at nearly 35 kilometers. SpaceX does an awesome job on their production, and we are very appreciative of that. About 2 minutes into the launch now. We're coming up on main engine cutoff here in just a few seconds. You'll see that plume go away. And shortly thereafter, there will be stage separation. They usually give us a really good view of that. Looking up, there we go.
Miko? Stage separation confirmed.
There we go. Good stage separation. Now we should have main engine start on second stage. Second stage ignition. You see the second stage fired up and pulling away from the Falcon 9 at this point. Falcon will begin its flip maneuver. It's now opening up the I had a little bit of a delay on my end. Sorry about that. Grid fins are opening up. That will provide the steering once the Falcon 9 hits the thicker part of the atmosphere. And you see there the fairings have been separated. Beautiful view of them falling back to Earth. They will be recovered also. But once those fairings were released, you saw the Starlink satellites inside, stacked up, ready to roll. Those fairings will be recovered. Each one of those is about $1 million recovery cost. Or not cost, but recovery, and not an expense for SpaceX. So they could save themselves a couple $1 million just by recovering those, cleaning them up, and reusing. And they have reused those numerous times. But getting back to the Falcon 9, it's beginning its reorientation maneuver. You see those cold gas thrusters, bursts of white popping out of the sides periodically, and that is normal. We just see those as it reorients, and then we'll begin the process heading towards the entry burn, which will begin the process of slowing the vehicle down, allowing those grid fins to do their job in the thicker part of the atmosphere, heading towards, just read the instructions for, we hope, 15th recovery of this booster. Speed will pick up as you would expect. Gravity takes over and the booster starts to fall. Altitude will decrease accordingly. So everything looks to be good. Second stage is running at about 11,000 kilometers an hour right now. Inching its way up on the altitude, just above 151 kilometers. Everything looking good. What we see on this end here is telemetry looks solid. Engines are burning straight and narrow. And we are just waiting here at about, I want to say about a minute and a half, a little bit less, for that entry burn. You can see the soot on the inside of the Falcon 9, the number of reuses it gets. One thing you notice is the boosters do not get cleaned. They do not get scrubbed down any more than is necessary. They do show their age. Does not affect anything with respect to the flight or any of the dynamics of it. But as I would say, Papa D would say, it's a sign of maturity and old age. But this booster is probably 60 to 70% towards its life, depending on how this one goes. They will certainly, SpaceX being they, will certainly learn from the anomaly that took place on Booster 1062 and use that to...
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there is the entry burn right on time. Notice the speed decreasing along with the altitude. Got to burn off some of that speed and burn off that altitude.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
As it still works its way down into the thicker part of
Both
the atmosphere.
vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
Good call. Everything looking nominal. Speed's picking back up a little bit. Of course, it is dropping. And there we go. You notice when you hit that point at which the atmosphere thickens, then the speed starts to drop off dramatically. Looking good. T plus just over 7 minutes into the flight. The next milestone is going to be the landing burn. Landing burn is going to be the center 1 engine. The entry burn was the center 3 engines. But only one will be necessary. It will be a throttling engine. It will be able to throttle itself up as
Stage
the
1
engines
transonic.
are deployed. And we come closer to landing. So we're now transonic, and those grid fins are really beginning to work. You'll see them moving quite a bit as they keep pointing the first stage back down to where it needs to be to make that landing. Just a few seconds away, about 3 miles out, speed decreasing. Everything looks good. Let's just wait, and we should have a
Stage 2
landing
is in
here
terminal
momentarily.
guidance.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Here we come, folks.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
And it looks like a good one.
Stage
We
1
have
landing
the
confirmed.
landing legs deployed on time, and it is vertical upright on. Just read the instructions.
And back
All right,
shutdown.
Stage 2 is continuing on its way.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And that's what we're waiting for. Switch here before we sign off. All right, there we go. Had a little bit of a delay trying to get one of those channels to come down, but we had, as you can see, successful launch of Booster 1077. Just read the instructions. Was the receiving ship just off the coast of Florida. That'll be the 15th launch and recovery. Everything went on schedule. 21 payload of 21 satellites has been sent on its way. If you want to follow, SpaceX does an awesome job on the X channel. They will follow up with the remainder of the mission. Usually there's a cruise period. All depends what part of the orbit they go up, what orbit they're going into, what part of the constellation these satellites will be released to. So it could be minutes, it could be an hour. It just all depends where they're going to be sending those up to. But they are going to geosynchronous orbit as part of the existing constellation. So if you want to follow that, SpaceX does an awesome job. Again, thanks to SpaceX. We appreciate the opportunity to bring this kind of educational programming out to our viewers. And we thank all of our subscribers. We thank you guys for coming out today and visiting with us. It's good to be back on line a little bit more. And again, we've got a lot going on. And I just wanted to give a quick recap of those couple of items before we say good afternoon anyway, until the next one. The number of payloads are going up, but the next Falcon 9 Block 5 that'll be going off is going to be National Reconnaissance Office, an NROL 113. That is due to launch Thursday the 5th. And that is today. No, I haven't lost my mind, but it is today. It'll be about 11:20 tonight. So we're going to try to carry that. That is going to be out of Vandenberg Space Force Base, 11:20 Eastern Daylight Time. So we'll see if we can pull that feed through and bring that to you. I'm going to put it up on the channel. Please hit notify if you want us to let you know. We'd love to let you know when that goes live and bring that to you. But we'll look forward to that. And that is a NROL launch, so they'll probably be cutting off the feed to us right after second stage SEP and the landing of the first stage. But we'll carry that if that is made possible for us. The next is going to be, looking forward to this. This is the Polaris Dawn mission. This is a Falcon 9 Block 5, going to be launching Saturday the 7th at 3:38 a.m. And that is the first commercial manned launch that will involve a spacewalk. We'll bring all the details on that during the launch, but that is going to be, it's been rescheduled a couple of times, and then with what happened with Booster 1062, kind of held things up. Then with what's going on with the Boeing Starliner, it's kind of pushed everything around in the launch cadence. It's a very tight launch cadence, so Starliner has caused its share of headaches in that respect. But we are currently scheduled on Polaris Dawn for a launch, like I said, Saturday the 7th at 3:38 a.m. That's going to be leaving LC-39A out at Kennedy Space Center. So look forward to that. And that's one of the big ones of the week. There's a number of other launches coming up that we'll just mention. There's a number of international launches. I believe there's actually Soyuz launching from Kazakhstan next Wednesday. But we do have a Falcon 9 on Thursday the 12th, and that is the Bluebird Block 1. We'll talk more about that. We're going to put these up on the board, so you'll be able to see those. And please hit notify. We'll let you know so you can come out and spend some time with Papa D and the rest of the David Deliver Space family. But again, for now, we're going to call it a day. Thanks again for coming back. Do apologize. We had to make this into a two-parter because of the delay from SpaceX, but the weather has not been our friend here in Florida, and SpaceX did another great job, knocked it out of the park. Congratulations to the SpaceX team, as usual, and we appreciate you guys continuing to provide to us the footage and make that available to our viewers. But, guys, thanks to everybody involved. Thanks to our... we can go down the list again here. meteoblue for the weather. We do appreciate that. Matt over at Maddness Productions for the bumper music. We appreciate that from him and from those folks. Go check them out if you need anything for your website or your channels. If you need music, I know he'd be willing to get with you and try to work something out and help you out there. Thank you to SpaceX, and thank you, most importantly, to our subscribers. Thank you for all standing by us and bringing us up to just about 25,000 subscribers. It's amazing, and we appreciate every bit of it. If you're not a subscriber, please look around. Try to be, if you want to be part of the family, we'd love to have you. We try to bring as many of the launches and things to you as we possibly can. And thanks again. If you want to go check out the merch store is there. We appreciate that. We are not monetized, so what we do because we love it, not because we make a dime off it. And we love having you guys out here with us. So for that, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks again for coming out, folks, and we look forward to seeing you at the next launch, which hopefully will be this evening, just about 11:30 tonight. Have a great day. Thanks again. See you soon.